Okay, right. We'll start then. Yeah.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I warmly welcome all of you for another knowledge sharing session by CMA Sri Lanka, a CPD program on the topic of e-filing of 2023-24 income tax IT returns, which is jointly organized by the Seminars and Conference Committee and Taxation Committee of the CMA Sri Lanka. Being the national professional accounting management accounting body in the country, we take great pride in conducting the knowledge sharing session for the free of charge for our members as well as the general public. So today topic will cover the refreshing of individuals income tax liability, individual simplified income tax return as well as individuals personal income tax, and a briefing of corporate income tax returns. To start the proceedings, I would like to welcome Professor Lakshman R. Vattavala, founder and president of CMA Sri Lanka, to do the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Gajendra. Mr. Gajendra, who's the chairman of our taxation committee, our other council members, and also our distinguished speakers today, that is Mr. Atula Ranavira, Mr. Saman Disanayaka, Mr. Asita Munasinghe, Mr. Hiran Meripitiya, and of course, Mr. Gajendra will be the moderator, and all our participants who are members, non-members, and those from the corporate sector. So as mentioned by Mr. Gajendra, we are organizing this really for the benefit of the income taxpayers and others who want to get a knowledge on the taxation area. And I must say that we had a discussion with the department, and also they were suggesting that we should really support our members and also the other corporate clients and other people who are engaged in business, because the 2023-2024 income tax returns are required. And one of the main areas they were concentrating is on the e-filing of the returns. Now, I must say that we had over 1,000 registrations, over 1,200 registrations, Mr. Saman, Mr. Atula, and the others. So this shows the great interest that is there on the filing of income tax returns, because there have been some who have been saying that they have a difficulty in doing it. So I think one of the main purposes of this is to not only to explain to them, but for everyone to file it in advance, because don't wait till the last date. I'm sure this will be mentioned by our department officers also, and they will look at it. Just to say a few words about CMA, as Mr. Gajendra mentioned, we are the National Professional Management Accounting Body in Sri Lanka. So it's the only body that is there in Sri Lanka. So we have really a role to play in the general economic development of this country. First of all, of course, we have to strengthen the management accounting profession. The cost accounting area, today we find that this is a major problem in all areas because prices are going up. There are no proper cost methods being used. So we have set up what is the Cost and Management Accounting Standards Board, who will be preparing standards applicable for all these things. So this is one area. Then the other major problem in even the Department of Inland Revenue is having is that keeping of records, books of accounts. Actually, it's really not relates only to the financial side, but also to the costing side. Because if you want to get the cost of a product, you should be able to reconcile that, agree it with the records that are maintained. I think the government has to very soon look at this and see how this could be implemented, because if the records are maintained, it will help the business people as well as all the other public, the banks, inland revenue, everyone. And we are able to really recommend various things, because even I have looked at the electricity prices, even electricity, if the proper cost records are not maintained, it is very difficult to verify it. In India, they have what is called the cost audit, where you do an audit and verify all these things. So this is just something I'm just saying, because Mr. Saman is also here and others from the Inland Revenue Department, that we need to support you all in this area, and definitely we will be able to establish this. So I must also tell you that we are celebrating 25 years, our Silver Jubilee celebration. So we are conducting a number of webinars, seminars, maybe conferences, and other activities which will benefit everyone. Now, one of the most important things that we want to do is that we want the students, those who are employed, to get a knowledge of accounting, to get a knowledge of management accounting, get a knowledge of cost accounting. Because if we can get that, I am sure their career is going to be very, very productive, and also they will have a lot of opportunities in this country. Because what we find is that the financial management, cost management are very negligible in this country. So if you want to recover the economy, if you want to play a major role in the economy, because our target is at least 200 to 300 management accountants passing as professional accountants, and maybe another 1,000 to 1,500 who will pass at the middle level, and they can support and assist everyone. So on their journey to become professional accountants, there we can go to the middle level. So I think we have a major role, but if we only get the support from those who are listening to the seminar, the companies, the individuals, the partnerships, the entrepreneurs, the business people, because we are doing quite a lot of things on the SME sector. I must tell you that we had a SME development committee which recommended to the government. You see, there was an abundant project which was approved by the Asian Development Bank called the Credit Guarantee Scheme. We pulled it out and we recommended to the government through the Ministry of Industries, and now it has been implemented. So you can see the great things that this professional body has done. We are members of the International Federation of Accountants, the global body for the accounting profession. Now we are playing a major role in the taxation. It's not only these webinars, but many tax seminars that we are conducting. So if you want to improve your knowledge, if you want to get more information, certainly those are also available. So once again, let me thank everyone who is attending, because as I said, there were over 1,200 registrations, but I'm sure a lot of them will attend it, and this will help them to take a good pathway and support them in the 2023-24 tax returns, and support the way from all areas. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Without further ado, let me introduce our the panelists and the presenters for the day. Our presenters are Mr. Atula Ranavira, Managing Partner, Ranavira Associates; Mr. Asitha Munasinghe, Senior Deputy Commissioner, Department of Inland Revenue; Mr. Hiran Menaripatiya, Senior Deputy Commissioner, Department of Inland Revenue. Mr. Saman Disanaka joining as the panelist for the day. He is the Commissioner of the Department of Inland Revenue. Over to you for the speakers.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Gajendra and Professor, for introduction. First, to start today's session, I would like to cover a brief covering of individuals' income tax liabilities. I'll try my best to manage within about 20 minutes, just to brief an individual's income tax liabilities. Now, for that, I'll share a document. In this session,
you have been permitted sharing this.
I think now it is shared. I will increase the letter size.
Right, fine.
I didn't prepare a PowerPoint presentation. I thought that it is better to give a note for after this session. We'll be sharing this note with everybody who participating for today's session. Now here, this is little bit detailed, but I'll be covering only the main items. In this, I have given a small index, and I have mentioned further knowledge upgradation note. That part I'm not going to cover. Right. Now, first we'll see why the basics of income tax, why it is needed. I don't think it is needed for us to discuss in detail, because everybody knows that any government who is running the country need more money, more and more money for maintaining the government employees to give various services to the general public. Majority of these services are free of charge, like health, education, and all. For all these things, they need the funds to defray these various type of capital and revenue expenditure. Then, why is it? Right. Now, as I mentioned, it is for cover up mainly the government expenses and the development of the country, future of the country. There may be arguments and criticisms that the collections are not linking for the purpose. Anyway, we are not going to talk on those matters. Then what type of tax in Sri Lanka? As in other countries, we have direct taxes as well as indirect taxes. Direct tax, mainly the income tax. In future, they might introduce property tax, inheritance tax, or whatever the wealth tax. At present, we have income tax. Then indirect tax, mainly VAT, SSCL, import duty, excise duty, various taxes are there. Now, in the case of indirect tax, as we know, the cost, the burden of that tax is passed into the next person. Ultimately, ultimate consumer is bearing the cost of the indirect taxes. Now, there are so many principles in taxation, but I'm not going to cover, even I have included here. Then parties involved in taxation in Sri Lanka. Now, there are three main parties involved in taxation. The legislator in Sri Lanka, it is the parliament. Then the taxpayers are there, who is bearing the cost or initially paying the tax. Then the tax administration. We have a couple of tax administrators in Sri Lanka, mainly Inland Revenue Department of Inland Revenue, then Customs Department, Excise Department, and so on. There are tax administrators, not really collectors, they are administrators. Then, what's the income tax base? When we are talking about the income tax base, the resident for taxation, there's a separate residency principle. Beyond that is totally different from visa purposes or immigration purposes residency. Now, for tax residency, when we recognize somebody as a tax resident, that the tax residents of Sri Lanka should pay taxes on the world income in Sri Lanka. Not only the income earned in Sri Lanka, but also income earning in other countries. But if there are any exemptions, can enjoy those exemptions. Then tax non-residents should pay taxes only on the income generated in or from Sri Lanka, like properties in Sri Lanka, or maybe various services providing or manufacturing or businesses in Sri Lanka, or whatever it is, right? Then how to avoid now the problem? Now our resident people should pay tax on the world income. Now when we say world income, this world income may be liable to tax at the sourcing level also. In the sourcing country also, the tax liabilities. Now, as a result, a lot of countries, they are signing double tax treaties, double tax agreements with regular transaction countries. With regularly transacting countries, they sign. Like in Sri Lanka, we have already signed with 44 countries. Then, what is the income tax legislation? Today's income tax legislation, it is the Act number 24 of 2017, Inland Revenue Act number 24 of 2017, which is amended subsequently 3 times. I have given the amendment acts also. In addition to these Inland Revenue Act and the amendments, any gazette notifications or guidelines issued with the authority under the Inland Revenue Act are also part and parcel of the legislation. Now, we will see under this particular act, what's the charging section? When we are talking about a tax law, always this charging section is very much important. Charging section is very much important. Now, this Inland Revenue Act, the charging section is section number 2. In VAT law, it is 2 and 3. The 2 again, the SSCL Act 2 and 3, likewise, charging sections are there. In the Inland Revenue Act, this charging section says, income tax shall be payable for each year of assessment. By whom? By a person. There are 2 types of persons. One type is has taxable income. The other type is receives a final withholding payment, that is a payment subjected to final withholding tax. A person receiving a payment which is already subjected to final withholding tax. Then, when we read this charging section, it answers to a couple of questions. What tax, income tax, who should be liable, a person is liable, how frequently it is year of assessment, on what in respect of taxable income, and on final withholding tax liable item. Then at what rate, that is given in the law. We have to once we arrive the taxable income, we have to apply the relevant tax rates given in the first schedule to the Act. Then taxable income into the rates given in the in the first schedule. Then once we arrive the tax amount, from that we can deduct whatever the tax credits available. It may be Sri Lanka local tax credit or maybe overseas tax credit. Then in addition to that, this final withholding payment into the withholding tax rates also applicable. Right. Then, therefore, at what rate it is answered in the first schedule, the rates are given in the first schedule. Then what are the allowable deductions from the tax amount, that is local tax credits and foreign tax credit. Now, when we read this charging section, there are some technical terms which we can't understand immediately. Those technical terms are defined in the tax law. Out of these, I have given these things, but I'm not going to read all these things. But 2, 3 very important points I'll cover. A person, we said a person is liable. The person definition, it says, person means an individual or an entity. 2 types, individual or entity. Then this entity is defined separately. Entity means company, partnership, and trust. Ultimately, a person includes an individual, company, partnership, or a trust. Any of these persons, if they are having taxable income, they should pay income tax in Sri Lanka. Right. Now, when we take the term company, it is not only covering the companies incorporated under the Inland Revenue Act, but also most of the other associations, incorporated or unincorporated associations, are also covered with this. Therefore, the company means not only an incorporated company under the Companies Act. Even a past people's association is a company for tax purposes. Right. Then with related to charitable institution, there's a separate definition. Then the charitable purposes, the definitions are there. I'm not going to read these things. Then we have to arrive the taxable income to compute the tax. Then how to arrive? To arrive the taxable income, we have to first arrive the assessable income. Once we arrive the assessable income, from assessable income, we are deducting 2 things. One is qualifying payments, the other one relief. This relief category is available only for individuals, not for other persons. Right. Then I have given a detailed listing of qualifying payments and relief in this note for your reference later on. Then what is accessible income? That is also important. Nowadays, a lot of individuals are liable to file a tax return. Then you should know what is accessible income. It's a technical term. It is defined to include 4 types of income: employment, business, investment, and other sources of income. Employment income is a contract of employment. You are getting some income as a result of contract for employment. Then doing a business, then making an investment, then any other sources. This other word is very common in world tax laws. Anything which is missed by the legislator is covering with this term. Right. Now, I have given a briefing of tax residency also. In this tax residency principles, I'll cover only the individual part because today we are mainly concentrating on individuals. Now, one individual to be a resident in Sri Lanka, there are 4 conditions. Out of these 4 conditions, first 2 are very important. Resides in Sri Lanka. Permanent residency in Sri Lanka. Then the second thing is physical stay in Sri Lanka. If present in Sri Lanka during the year and the aggregate period more than 183, half of the year, more than 183 days in Sri Lanka during any 12 months starting from arriving into Sri Lanka or leaving from Sri Lanka. That part we have to see. Then next 2 are with relate to government employees, our government employees who are working in abroad for government service. The other category, our employees who are working in Sri Lanka ships. Right. Then the definition, the coverage of partnership companies, trust also I have given, but I am not reading that. Then how to arrive this, how to recognize the income for taxation. If you are filing your own tax return, what income to be included into the year 23-24? Now for that, we have to apply generally accepted accounting principles and work out the profit or income. Then normally we have cash basis accounting and accrual basis accounting. Law provides this to identify these different income. In the case of employment income, which is applicable only to individuals, always it is cash basis. But suppose March month salary paid in April, you have to take it as March because it's an accrued expenditure, right? Then business income always on accrual basis. Then investment income on cash basis for individuals, for other people, other persons, that is the companies, trust and partnerships on proper basis. Other income also, it says so as proper income. Right. Now I have given the other thing, we shouldn't duplicate any income or we shouldn't omit any income from tax. Right. Then I have given, we are sharing this document, I have given a computation format. Now you have the online filing system, therefore you can learn the tax law a little bit. Computer knowledge, if you have little bit computer knowledge, you can log into the system, get downloaded the draft return and fill it and upload it. If you are having a lot of investments, lot of businesses, you may not be in a position to do it alone, but only the people who are having employment income and very some investment income, I feel that they can manage on their own. Now this is a format. The sources of income I have given, then the assessable income, this is the tax, this is the accounting profit, then we have to do various adjustments, arrive the assessable income. Then from the total assessable income, we can deduct the qualifying payments. There are several qualifying payments, like donation to approved charities, there's an upper limit. Donation to the governments, no upper limits. Then corporations, when corporations contribute to consolidated fund or president fund, there's a deduction. For individuals, now contribution to Samurdhi families, if you have given some contribution to Samurdhi families to start up or continue a shop, then there's a deduction for individuals. Then film related deductions are also there. Then financial institution amalgamation cost, also there's a deduction. Now, as I mentioned, reliefs are available only for individuals. This relief category is very much important to you. Personal allowance. Now you are getting personal allowance of 1.2 million a year. Then if you have rent income, you can enjoy, optionally, you can enjoy 25% of the gross rent as a deduction. Not on net rent, it is on gross rent. Then earlier there was an expenditure relief, now it is not there. Then solar panel, if you will fix solar panel on your roof and supply the electricity to the national grid, per year you can deduct 600,000 rupees from your assessable income to arrive the taxable income until you claim the entire cost. Then after that, you are getting the taxable income. On taxable income, you are supposed to apply the tax rates. Then you are getting the tax amount. Once you get the tax amount, you can deduct the local tax credit and overseas tax credit. Then we'll just run through the important due dates. Self-assessment payments, you have to pay in 4 quarterly installments. You have 1.5 months time period from the end of the quarter, first quarter ending by 30th June. Then you have another 1.5 months, that is 15th of August. You are supposed to pay the first month estimated tax quarterly payment. Likewise, 4 quarters you have to pay. Then by 30th September of the immediate subsequent year, you are supposed to pay the balance tax amount. Balance tax amount, final tax amount, 30th. Then the final tax return, you are supposed to file by 30th November of the immediate subsequent year. Then withholding tax and APIT, the withholding tax agents should deduct the withholding tax. This is not much important for individuals, but you may be a person on your income, the other party bank may have deducted 5% or the tenant may have deducted 10%. Then you can get the credit on that if it is not a final tax. On dividend, withholding tax is a final tax. Then in the case of capital gain, 30th of the immediate subsequent month, the per month return you are supposed to file. If the transactions are there, you have 1 month time from the end of the quarter. Then we'll move to individuals' income tax return, because I had to finish off my time. The year of assessment I have explained, it is from 1st of April to 31st March of the subsequent year. Nobody can change the year of assessment. Nobody can change the year of assessment, but if you want to, you can get change with reasonable grounds. You can apply to the Commissioner General and change the accounting year covered with the year of assessment. Not change in the year of assessment, but accounting year, you can get change. Then who should file a return? Every person chargeable with income tax. Now, who should obtain a taxpayer identification number? Every person chargeable with income tax. In addition to that, second category, resident individual that are prescribed in a Gazette notification 2334/21, published on 31st May 2023. Now, as per that, all 18 plus individuals were supposed to obtain the tax file by June this year. That means now in Sri Lanka, we have out of 22 million population, we have 17.2 million 18 plus people. But still, out of this 17.2 million, still we have little less than 1 million individual tax files. That means majority of them have not obtained the TIN number. Then just because you obtain a TIN number, it doesn't mean that you are supposed to file a return, but a Commissioner General can order you to file a return. If the Commissioner General ordered you to file a return, even you don't have taxes to be paid, you have to file the return. But if you have a taxable income, definitely you have to file the return. Right. Now, when to pay income tax, as I mentioned, for quarterly installment and the final payment by 30th September, how to pay. Now, one way, of course, on our income, the bank or somebody might deduct withholding tax. We can get the credit for non-final withholding tax. Balance, we have to pay on our own as self-assessment. Then, APIT. The APIT is a term using for withholding tax on remuneration. Withholding tax on remuneration. Right. It is mandatory with effect from 1st January 2023. If APIT has already been deducted, are you to file the TIN number? Yes. Even then, as you are above 18 years, you are supposed to obtain a TIN. Then, what are the other withholding taxes applicable? Various other withholding taxes are applicable. I'm not going to cover those things. Then we have two types of tax return to be filed. One is estimated tax return. It is by 15th of August. Then the final tax return by 30th November of the subsequent year. Then now no manual filing. You have to file online. Now when we are filing the individual online file, if you have only employment income or only interest income or only employment and interest income, you can use the simplified tax return. Now, next resource persons will cover these things in detail. Right. Now, for that, first you have to obtain a TIN number, then you have to obtain a PIN number. I have given some documentations required to obtain a TIN number, then the requirements to obtain a PIN number. I have given this listing. Now, of course, PIN immediately you will be getting. Normally, you might take about 5 days to obtain a TIN in certain cases. But in the case of PIN, immediately, no sooner you request it, through the system, you will be getting a PIN number. There's no delay as such. Even after receiving a hard copy of the tax return, now of course, we are not getting the hard copy because we are supposed to file return. Now I have given two screenshots to stop my part, two screenshots shots of once you log into the system, you will be getting these things. Now, which year tax return to be filed, then you have to click 2023-24. Then it is a new one. Now, last year's, this is extracted from one of a taxpayer. That taxpayer has already submitted the previous year's tax return. Now he is supposed to file only 23-24. Once you click this, if you are having only the interest income and the employment income, you can select the simplified tax return. Simplified tax return. Or you can file a nil return if you don't have an income. Now, when we are filing the tax return, withholding taxes already deducted by the agents are given in the system, in a schedule that is given. But you have, you can amend those figures. But you can take it as a guide. If certain things are not included, you can include those things. If previous year one by mistake it is included by the bank or some information, then you can amend those things. No problem about that. Now in this note, I have given some detailed notes, different sources of income, then the qualifying payments in detail, then the relief in detail, then the tax returns of individuals, then the tax return, concessionary tax rate applicable to retiring benefits, then tax rate of companies, then the tax rate of partnerships. This information for your further studies, because as we are sharing this, You can study these things. If you have any questions, now the other resource persons will show how to log into the system and file mainly a simplified return. In addition to that, normal tax return of individual as well as tax returns of other corporate bodies. You can learn those things with that. Then I'm sure most of you will be in a position to manage your own tax return. Anyway, if you have any further questions later on, you can contact me over these contacts which I have given here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ranavira. Now, I have the warm pleasure in inviting Senior Deputy Commissioners, Mr. Asit and Mr. Hiran, to do their presentation. Over to you, sirs.
Thank you, Mr. Gajendra. I'm going to present you about corporate income tax return. That is a brief introduction. Let me to share the document. This is a brief introduction about actually pre-requirement of the before filing.
Can you put it to presentation mode?
Yeah, presentation, not this.
Right, okay.
Is it share now? Okay, no?
Yeah, okay.
Actually, this part is related to pre-requirement of e-file in the CIT sector. Before that, I will explain the scope of the CIT return. Actually, the corporate income tax return mainly consisted within two parts. One is Part A and Part B. Actually, Part A relating to main return and Schedule 1 to Schedule 7. Part B is consisted with Schedule 8, Schedule 9 and Schedule 10. Actually, Schedule 8 relating to tax computation, Schedule 9 relating to financial information and Schedule 10 relating to foreign transaction. When submitting this return in the online platform, some supporting documents also need to submit. Actually, audited financial statement, tax computation is the compulsory requirement, and in addition to that, if some taxpayer available withholding tax credit, he need to submit withholding tax credit schedule. In addition to that, such taxpayer connecting with transfer pricing activities, transfer pricing declaration form also should be uploaded to the return. The main thing is before starting e-filing, kindly advise to taxpayer prepare these documents, audited financial statement, tax computation in the PDF format, and save in the device the separate folder. And withholding tax schedule should be verified through the verification tool. After verifying that schedule, also should save in addition to that transfer pricing disclosure form. The relevant formats available in the Inland Revenue website. Pre-requirement of e-filing is actually before for the purpose of logging to the Inland Revenue e-service, taxpayer need the PIN. By using that PIN, in the case of CIT, corporate sector, for the purpose of filing return, need SSIDs. Actually, these SSIDs can be divided into two. One SSID need for the preparer. Preparer is the person who enter in data to the e-return, and second SSID is relating to the approver. Approver means he is the supervising officer. He can check all details entered by the preparer. After checking and after verifying those information, if correct, he can submit. Approver can submit return to the Inland Revenue Department. So for that purpose, need SSIDs. This is the path for obtaining the TIN. The first in our Inland Revenue web portal should go into the e-service, then access to e-service. From that, you can find this link. After clicking this PIN request link, this kind of interface would appear. You should fill this application. After submitting this, within 1 or 2 days, you will receive the PIN. By using that PIN, you should request SSIDs for the purpose of e-filing. So for that purpose, again, you should log to the e-service, then select the authorization staff. By using that obtained PIN, you can enter that details in near hand. You can log into the e-service. Then there is a option authorization. There is a part request SSID. After clicking that SSID request part, you will receive this kind of interface. Maximum 20 SSIDs would be issued by the system. You can submit relevant details, either email or post. You will receive SSA ID and respective pins. After that, you need to get authorization on that stuff. That is that also can do through this website. Authorization staff, actually this I earlier explained that preparer authorization should be given. In addition to that, one SSID should be authorized under the approver category. Return filing should be started from preparer part. After completing e-return, then preparer can submit that return. After submitting that return to the system, but that e-return would be assigned to the approver. After checking all entered information and uploaded documents, approver can submit that return to the Inland Revenue Department. Right? Very important thing, the approver can, at the approver point, he can take the acknowledgement from the e-service for this submission. This is the starting point of login to the e-return. Is this available in the e-service? You should click here, corporate tax radial button. Then you will go to the, after that, you can find this interface. In here, you should enter prepare SSID and prepare a PIN. SSID is relevant PIN should enter here. After that, entering the PIN, you can log into the system. After login to the system, your dashboard will appear. There is a icon return and schedule management. Under that link, there is another topic that corporate income tax return. After clicking that, you will go to the respective return file in UI. This is the return file in UI. In here, you should, from this UI, you should select relevant year of assessment. That year of assessment is 22-23. There is a radial button. You should click it, and after clicking this proceed button, e-filing can start. By using freely prepared this is the introduction part to the e-filing. Next, I will go. I am going to show you here e-filing return. Actually, that there is a small video that I prepared that has obtained from our UAT system. I will show you that small video for e-filing. Can you see the screen?
No.
We can't see.
And no.
Right, we can see now.
Oh, okay. This is the login UI. Here you should enter the SSID and PIN. You can see it. Where is the playing? You can't find it. No. Playing button.
No, you get the plain button bottom.
But yes, button. But issue is
Not working.
yes.
No. You have right.
Yes. Hi. Okay. Yes, this is the dashboard. Then I will explain this. Check in the 24, 23, 23 and proceed button clicking. You go into the e-return. This is the e-return. First, here you can need to select resident. So there is a qualifying conducting requirement. Before starting the e-filing, you should select required qualifying conditions from this page. Here have 10 numbers things company entitled for exemption, like company has and business loss. You should select those. The item 10 is related to withholding tax credit. If you available these things in your return, you should select yes. If it is not available, you should select no. Then after selected this qualifying condition, and you should click the next button, then go into the main return page. This is the main return page. Main return page, you can see all cages are in ash color. That means that cages are in non-editable mode. By using this blue color links, you can enter data, then automatically update this respective cages. This is the part A of the return. This is the main return page. After this page, you should select next button, then go into the declaration page. This is the declaration page. In the declaration page, two part in there. The first part, whether the return or part of the return is prepared by an approved account. That part, if click yes, that would be now in ash color, non-editable. Then after clicking yes, that would be open, right? If you then part B is related to the taxpayer declaration person's information. Without filling this information, you can't continue the e-filing. Then I have filled some information in here. After clicking next button, you go to the schedules. This is the first schedule. First schedule is related to tax exemption. Tax exemption would be divided in this return mainly in three parts, mainly in four parts. One is tax exemption under the New Inland Revenue Act, Revenue Act 24 of 2017. Second part is relating to exemption granted under previous act. Here you can see the drop down list. In drop down list, have mentioned what are the respective section of the act relating to the exemption. After clicking that, you can appear respective exemption part. You can enter details here. Next part is relating to BOI exemption. Relevant information can enter here. Date result is here. Number of years likewise you can enter. After that, if there are any exemption losses under the exempt amount, that should be declared in here. You can enter information, and after filling these details in this return, you can go to the next page by clicking next button. Next schedule is Schedule 2 is related to business income. Actually, Schedule 2 first here is the business summary of assessable income. This assessable income summary would be consisted with two parts. One is sources of income. Sources of income representing business income, investment income, and other income. In addition to that, if there are any losses also can be set off against this income. That loss part would be representing 2B. We will discuss in after this page. This schedule 2 mainly relates with sources of income. Schedule 2A relating to business income. Here you can select the activity code. After selecting respective activity code, that business activity would appear here, and after that you can enter relevant data in here. Next is relating to investment income. Drop down list, you can select the relevant activity code. After selecting it, interest income likewise, you can enter those information here. And next part relating to the other income. Other income also have activity code. Then you can enter data here, and after entering this data automatically populated to the main return. Then after clicking next button, this page, next page, going to the next page, and next page is Schedule 2B. Schedule 2B first part representing loss deduction summary, and part 2B1 is relating to business loss adjustment. You know, according to the act, there are some loss reduction adjustment. In here, if there are any brought forward losses, you can put those things in here. And adjustment part after that, if there are any during year loss, you should enter in here. If there are any gains of it, automatically populate from main return to here. After that, here adjustment plus and minus. based on some loss adjustment provisions in that, you can allow losses against the business income. After this business income part, if there are any specific losses, you can declare. Then there is another schedule, that is 2B2, and 2B3 is relating to investment losses. Investment losses also same as business losses, carry brought forward balances and during the year losses, during the year profit, you can adjust here. And if there are any carried forward amount, that can enter in here. Next part is related to foreign part. Then after clicking next button, going to the schedule 3. Schedule 3 is mainly related to the qualifying payment. Under the qualifying payment, first you can find the summary, but that summary under the non-editable mode, below to this summary, you can find each schedules, relate schedules, schedule A, B, C, D, likewise. There are some schedule. When you are entering data into this sub-schedules, automatically updated in the summary, right? This is the qualifying payment schedule. After that, next schedule is taxable income part. In this taxable tax calculation part, there is a drop down list. That drop down list is relating to special rate. Actually, code table is available in the Inland Revenue website. If the taxpayer need to use some any concession rate, he can find that concession rate code from that code table, and that code number you can find from by clicking this drop down list. Here there is some number. After clicking that number, rate would become. After that, you should enter the taxable income, then automatically calculate the tax payable. In here, actually based on the main return taxable income, when the taxpayer come into this point, he has already filled. Income sources has already filled, losses has already filled, qualifying payment has already granted. Accordingly, his taxable income has already determined. That taxable income automatically populate to in here. From that taxable income, the concession rate part, after entering that details into top of this area, this drop down by using this drop down list, that special rate amount would be calculated in here. If there are any realization of investment asset part, that amount should be entered in here. After entering those details in here, automatically would calculate the balance taxable income, and their rate is 30%. In this is the schedule 4. Here another thing, the company realization of investment asset company rate is 30. Trust and other funds rate is 10. There is a drop down list as per the nature of that business. That company or trust can select their respective realization investment asset rate. Then after clicking next button, the thing is, each and every stage of this page, when you are clicking the next button, the entered data would be saved in the system. No need to specially save, automatically save. No need to click the save draft button. When you are shifting from one page to another page, automatically data would be saved in the system. This is the schedule 5. Schedule 5 is relating to remittance taxes. Remittance taxes, if available, should enter in here, and payment details also should include here. Here is the payment details. After entering these data, click in the next button. You will go to the next page. Next page is related to Schedule 6. Schedule 6 is mainly final withholding payment and NGO part. Schedule 6 part is the summary that would be consisting 2 with final withholding and NGO part. 6A is relating to final withholding. If their total final withholding should be declared first, and after that, if there are any final withholding payment not deducted part, that part should be paid by taxpayer. Therefore, that amount should recognize from this schedule. Next 6B is relating to NGO part. That NGO grant details should enter here. After entering those things, you can go to the next schedule. Next schedule is Schedule 7, very important schedule. Tax credits are connected with this schedule. Actually, this schedule can be divided into two, or we have prepared this schedule in two ways. One is non-refundable credit and refundable credit. In here, non-refundable credit, if you have foreign tax credit, other relief, you can claim here. Very important thing in here, if the taxpayer have previous year refunds under the self-assessment basis, out of that refunds, 60% amount can be claimed here. This is a special opportunity granted to the taxpayer. Why? 60% of previous self-assessment refund, if he available, he can claim here under the non-refundable credit. Then second part is refundable credit. Refundable credit would be considered remittance taxes. If there are any realization of investment asset payment, that also should include here. Then here withholding tax, that cage is in ash color, gray color. That means there is actually uneditable part. Actually, there is a separate subschedule called 7B that is related to the withholding tax. After entering data in that 7B subschedule, those information would automatically populated to this withholding tax cage. If there are any sales assessment payment should enter here. In the case of NGO, that amount should enter in here. In this page, you can see there is a save draft. Next, go to part B and go to pay confirmation image. In here, you can see these buttons. If the company is not available withholding tax credit, that company avoid on that Schedule 7B subschedule directly can transfer to the part B of the schedule. Why? Part A normally would be entered from Schedule 7. The only one subschedule in this Schedule 7, that is the withholding tax schedule. That schedule we called it as Schedule 7B. So, if a taxpayer is not available withholding tax credit, in this, by clicking this go to part B button, this taxpayer can directly move to part B part, right? Then after clicking next button, normally taxpayer will go to the Schedule 7B page. This is the 7A. Actually, that is the inactive page. This is the schedule 7B. Withholding tax details should be entered in here. After entering data to this schedule, automatically populated to the main return. Then next part, actually, this is the part B. Part B, first schedule 8. Schedule 8 is relating to the tax computation. In this schedule, first part is connected with business income. Business income, first we can identify liable income, then exempt income. After that, deduction as per the Inland Revenue Act from section 10 to 19 have deduction. Such deduction should be declared in here. In here also, these cages are in gray color. That means those cages are non-editable mode. If you need to enter some information to here, you should click this link. There are some links here that are really connected with subschedules. After filling those subschedules, automatically update this part. These are the subschedule. Gross income, then after that allowances for trading stock according to that, then after that this is that computation sheet. You can find separately for this is the subschedule 8A, then 8D research and development part. Those are deductions, agriculture staff expenses, capital allowances. Likewise, each and every deduction have a schedule in here. After entering data into this schedule, you can prepare your tax computation in this return. After entering all required information in this schedule 8, you will transfer to schedule 9. Schedule 9 is connected with financial information. Financial information, gross profit, net profit, likewise. After that, trade receivable, some balance sheet items, balances also requested in here. You can enter such data in here. After that, transfer pricing declaration also should mention in here. After entering data, you can click the next button. Then this is the new schedule. Actually, we have introduced this in this time. This schedule is not available in previous year of assessment. This one has introduced in this year of assessment. Actually, this schedule is connected with foreign part. Taxpayer should declare if he has foreign transaction, that turnover in the case of business or investment or other source, that part should be declared in here. Gain also should declare in addition to that foreign remittances. So should be. After that, auditor details should include here. Then in this point, after clicking this go to confirmation image, you can preview your entered data. Then after clicking it, this is the your confirmation image. All entered data are available. You can see here, this is the main return page. Then entered When entering data in the business income schedule, automatically populate. Then qualifying payment automatically populate. You can find, you can check your correctness of your entered record. You can check by using this confirmation image. By end of this confirmation image, yeah, by end of this confirmation image, you can find 5 buttons. Those buttons, first one is related to amendment, print, submit, upload, supporting documents, and cancel. When you are verifying this confirmation image, if you find some error area, you can amend it. After clicking this amend button, you can amend it. If you need to get a printout, you should select print button. Then if you need to upload document, you should click this button. In addition to that, if you need to save this document, on this page, after clicking right button, you can save this document. Here you can see, right? In the case of uploading supporting documents, in here upload supporting documents has mentioned that 2 radial button. One is now or later. You can, if you supposed to upload now, you can click now button, now radial button, or you supposed to submit documents later, you should click later button. Then after clicking this submit button, now I will show then clicking the this is the supporting documents uploading part. You can click when you are going to upload audit opinion, like there is a radio button, uploaded document, you should click here, then select supporting document, then you can upload in this point. For this purpose, you should previously prepare this document and save in the device. Schedule is in here, WHT schedules also can upload in here. After clicking select, you can you can find the place that you have saved those documents. You should click the save button. After clicking save button, the respective documents would be saved in the return. After that, you can click the submit button. In the preparer site, after clicking this submit button, would submit it to the approver site, and after logging out from the system, and approver should again log into the system and he can approve the return. This is the brief introduction of the corporate income tax return. If you have any clarification about this return e-filing, you can ask in the Q&A session. Now I'm going to wind up my session. If you have any question, you can ask it in ask such questions in the Q&A session. Then next, individual income tax return part and partnership return part would be started by Mr. Hiran. So now I am winding up my session. Thank you very much for listening to my session. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Mr. Asita, thank you very much for your presentation. I think you have covered the entire area. Anyway, now nobody can learn swimming without going to the water, no? Therefore, definitely you have to on your computer and try this and learn it, right? Thank you very much, Mr. Asita. Now, the next is to talk about mainly the individuals tax returns. Individuals tax return, now we have two type of tax return. One is simplified tax return, as I mentioned, for only for people who are having employment income and investment income. They can file a simplified tax return. Then anybody who is not entitled to file a simplified tax return, they should file normal tax return. Normally we call it as personal income tax return. Simplified one, we call it as IIT. The other one, the normal one, we call it as PIT. Now, I would like to invite Mr. Hiran Menere Pitia, a senior deputy commissioner of the Inland Revenue. He's also connected with this REMIS system. He is an assistant. He's also an assistant director of REMIS project. And in addition to that, currently he is attached to the transfer pricing unit. Like in Mr. Asita, Mr. Hiran is also have 18 years service with Department of Inland Revenue. Yeah, now I would like to invite Mr. Asita to Mr. Hiran to cover the individual's tax return. It's over to you, Mr. Hiran.
Okay, good evening and thank you very much, Mr. Atula. And thank you very much for inviting us to do this session. And I'm going to cover the individual income tax return e-filing. So my presentation, my session, for my session, I have prepared a very small PowerPoint presentation and some videos to demonstrate how to do the individual income tax return e-filing. So let's start with this little presentation. So individual income tax return for year of assessment 23-24, basically this particular return consists with three parts. The first thing is the return of income or the main return. We call it return of income or the main return. And with the return, you have to submit the schedules, right? There are 10 schedules with this return of income. And the third part is the statement of asset and liability. So basically what you have to do while you are filing the income tax return for year of assessment 23-24, you have to submit the main return and relevant schedules with the statement of asset and liability. So if you need some more details, right? In case you need more details refers to the e-filing, you can go for the individual income tax return guideline as well. So from where you can find out the format of this return and that particular guideline, you have to access to the Inland Revenue website. I just introduced the Inland Revenue website web address. It's www.ird.gov.lk. So most of you may have experience in using this particular website. There are a lot of information in case of tax return filing and any other tax related things. You can access to this particular website. There are a lot of information and a lot of options. So once you log with this particular website, there's a hyperlink called download, right? Once you click on that particular download hyperlink, there will be a drop down. From that drop down, you have to select the forms and returns, right? Once you select the forms and returns, then there will be a individual income tax. Again, you have to select the individual income tax, year of assessment 23-24. Right? Once you select that particular year of assessment on individual income tax, you can have access to the return of income, the relevant schedules, asset and liability statement, as well as this particular guideline. So before you start the filing, I propose you to just go through this particular return schedules and other relevant document. Then you can do this particular return submission in a very effective manner. Okay, so now what are the pre-requirement for the e-filing? So most of you know. So first thing, you need to have a TIN registration. That means you need to have a TIN number, right? So and in order to access to this particular e-system, TIN number is not enough, right? In addition to TIN number, you need to have a PIN number as well, right? So in case you are having a TIN number, right? Suppose you don't have PIN number, what you can do is you can make a request for the PIN. I hope now Mr. Asita has already shown the way how you need shown the way to request for the PIN, right? By through this Inland Revenue web site, right? So once you have a TIN and PIN, now you are eligible to open your personal account or your if you are an entity, your entity account within the premise system, right? So those two requirements are very important in order to access to the remis system, TIN and PIN. But once you having a TIN and PIN, it is not enough to do the return file, right? So for the purpose of individual income tax return filing, what you have to do, right? First, you have to register for particular tax type. That means you have to register for individual income tax type, right? So we have experienced there are several cases taxpayers do have TIN as well as they do have PIN, but once they log into the system using their TIN and PIN, they can't see the return. That is because sometimes they may not registered for this particular tax type. Therefore, it is important you have to make sure you are registered for the individual income tax type for year of assessment 23-24. Right now, suppose you do have a TIN, you do have a PIN, as well as you have already registered for the individual income tax. Right. So, is that three requirements are enough to start e-filing? No. Right. So, in order to start the e-filing, Inland Revenue Department has to issue the return. Once it is issued by the IRD, thereafter taxpayers can log into the system and they can do the return filing. So as you all know, now IRD has issued individual income tax return. Now it is open, now that the system is open to do the e-filing. So that part is done. So before you start this process, you have to make sure you are registered for TIN, you have a PIN from IRD, and you are registered for particular individual income tax type. So is that enough? So suppose now you do have all this requirement. Is that enough to do the effective return filing? I think no. You have to get ready a little more, right? So you should have a TIN and PIN, and before you start the e-filing, you have to prepare your tax computation, as Mr. Ranavira described in his session. You have to prepare your incomes. You have to identify your source of income, and based on that, you have to calculate your assessable income from each source. That means the assessable income from employment, assessable income from business, assessable income from investment. You should have idea about what is my assessable income from the relevant sources, and you have to have some understanding what are the relief and qualifying payment that you can claim against the taxable income. Once you have that theoretical or once you have complete that calculation related part, it will be easy to you to do this exercise within a very short period of time. And further, in case you are having large number of withholding tax credit or withholding tax related transaction, you have to prepare the relevant withholding schedules as well. And you have to prepare other supporting documents. It may be T10 certificate, it may be financial statement, it may be some kind of rent agreement, right? So if you wish to upload that kind of supporting document as well with this return, what you have to do is you have to pre-prepare this document in PDF or Excel format. Once you have complete all this preliminary requirement, so you can do this e-filing within a very short period of time and without wasting your valuable time. So so that is the basic things that I need to present before this demonstration. Once I complete the demonstration, I will show you how to do this withholding schedule preparation, right? So we'll move to the demonstration. This particular demonstration has been made using our testing environment. It is almost same as the production. That means what you can see when you are logging into the system. Okay. Okay, so first thing is how to log into this e-filing UI. Again, you have to open the Inland Revenue website through the web address of www.ird.gov.lk. From this website, you have to select the e-service. Once you move the cursor to the e-service, there will be a drop down. From that drop down, you have to select the option of access to e-service. Once you click on the access to e-service, another web page will be pop up. From that particular web page, you have to select the individual income tax. Bottom part of this particular web page, you can select the individual income tax and you have to click the proceed button. Once you click the proceed button from that particular web page, you will have this kind of interface, right? Here, what you have to do, you have to enter your TIN number and your PIN number, right? So you have to enter the TIN number, then you have to enter the PIN number, right? So after you enter in the TIN and PIN, you have to enter this captcha as well. It doesn't matter whether it is in capital or simple, but you have to enter that captcha anyway, right? So once you complete all these requirements, you have to click the login button, right? Then you will be connected with the Inland Revenue premise system, right? So this is the dashboard. So most of you may have experience with this particular dashboard, right? So there are a lot of options. You can do, you can communicate with the Inland Revenue through this premise dashboard, right? So for the purpose of filing income tax return, right, we have to use this return filing status particular item, or you can access to the return through this return schedule management, right? So we'll see how to access to the individual income tax return from this dashboard. So one option is you can use this return filing status button, or otherwise you can use this return schedule management, right? See here, you have to select the individual income tax IIT. So now you are in the return filing summary page. Return filing summary page, it will show your TIN number, your name, right? Here, this is the dummy name for the testing purpose. If not, there will be the taxpayer's name, right? So the current year of assessment, and you can see the return filing summary as well. So here you can see the 23-24 return status is new. That means no data has been entered to this particular return yet. So what you have to do from this summary page, you have to select the relevant year of assessment and you have to click the proceed button. Okay, so once you proceed from this return filing summary page, you will be navigated to this particular page. This is actually a newly introduced page from this year onward, right? So as Mr. Ranavira discussed earlier, from this year onward, there are two individual income tax return. Actually, there's no difference. The same income tax return, but it has been divided into two as simplified individual income tax return and the standard or the previous the standard individual income tax return. So what is the difference between this simplified or the simple income tax return and the standard income tax return? So those who have only employment income, or those who have only interest income, or those who have employment income plus interest income, right? Only employment income plus interest income, they are eligible to file the income tax return through this simplified version, right? In case you are having business income, or in case you are having investment income like rent, commission, right, or any other kind of investment income, you are not eligible to submit the return using this simplified format, right? So that is the special important things. In case of you are having a employment income, or employment income plus interest income, or only interest income, you are eligible to do the e-filing through this simplified return. And the other important thing is when it comes to the employment income, you should have only one employer within the year of assessment 23-24. In case you have two employers during the year of assessment 23-24, you are not eligible to submit this simplified version of individual income tax return. Instead of this simplified version, what you have to do is you have to submit the standard return, right? So how to navigate to the simplified return? You have to click the, you can, in case you are having only one employment income, you can click this particular radio button. In case of you are having employment income plus interest income, you can click on both these buttons. Even you do have to submit a nil return, and you don't have any business income or other type of investment income, still you can submit this simplified version. In that case, you can tick this button as well. So even though you tick only one of this, or even though you tick all three of this, you will be navigate to the simplified version of return. In case you are having any other income, I mean business income, or the investment income like rent, or the rent, commission, or some other kind of investment income, what you have to do, you have to select this question number 4, or the qualifying condition number 4. In addition to that, in case you aim to, you are going to claim the qualifying payment, or the other relief, maybe solar relief, right? So in that case, you cannot submit the simplified version of individual income tax return. In that case, what you have to do is you have to submit the standard format. So I will show you. So here it is. Another special thing is this time you can convert this user interface into your preferred language, right? So here there's a hyperlink for Sinhala language, another hyperlink for Tamil language, and as well as this is the English one. So once you click on this particular language option, the user interfaces will be converted to that particular language, right? This is Sinhala version of the return. So likewise, you can convert this into the Tamil as well as to the English, right? That language preference is available from this year onward. And other thing is why this language preference is here. you know, from this year onward, the electronic filing is mandatory for the individuals as well. You cannot submit the physical return without having prior approval from the Commissioner General of Inland Revenue. Right, so this is the Tamil language, and in case you need to use the English one, you can convert it again, right? So here I will show you how to do this e-filing through this simplified return. So this is my next video. Hope you can see my screen now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we can see, we can see.
Yeah, thank you. So here we again in the qualifying condition page, right? So from here, we have to select qualifying condition 1, 2, 3 to navigate to the simplified version, right? So we'll see. So now you can see here I have selected 2 and then I click on the next button, right? We'll see what will happen. So system will pop up a confirmation message. It will say, I agree that I do not have any employment income from more than one employer and other than interest income. So you are eligible to submit this simplified version of individual income tax return as far as you do have only one employment income and the interest income. So if it is okay, what you have to say yes. Then you will be navigated to the simplified version of income tax return. This is newly introduced one from this year onward. The first important things, there's a message. It says, for your convenience, we have pre-filled some of the information based on the available data. However, it is your responsibility to ensure the accuracy and provide the correct details. So what are the important things with this simplified version? It will pre-fill your tax related data based on the available information. So what you have to do is you have to check the pre-filled data. In case you wish to do alteration to that data, those data editable. You can alter the data which are pre-filled by the system. But in case the pre-filled data are okay, what you can do is you can check it. If everything is correct, you can submit it. Okay, so we'll see. So now here you can see, once you log into the simplified version, your employment related data auto filled by the system based on the available data with the Inland Revenue Department, right? So TIN number, name of the employer, remuneration, and the amount that advance personal income tax deducted from your employment. Those data will be pre-filled, right? So what you have to do is you have to check whether these details are correct, right? So in case you need to do any alteration, you can do it, right? Here you can see the cages are white in color. That means those cages are editable, right? So not only the employment related data, system will auto fill the interest related data as well. So you have to check again whether these data are correct. So withholding agent TIN number, certificate number, amount, and kind of thing. In case you need to alter, you can alter these details, right? So I'm showing you how to alter right here. So what you have to do is you have to click on this particular cage, right? So then you can alter, right? Here. Likewise, you can alter the detail in the interest income table as well. Right, I'll show you. So you have to click this particular, in case you need to alter the existing data, you have to click on this particular hyperlink. I will show it again. So here you have to tick this box and then you have to click on this hyperlink, right? So once you click on this hyperlink, the data will be pop up into this kind of box, right? From here you can update. That means from here you can do the editing part, right? So, or in case you need to add another detail. So what you have to do is you have to click on the add button. Once you click on the add button, there will be a pop-up box like this. You have to enter the data in the relevant cages. So in this case, it is important to enter the withholding agent TIN and withholding certificate number. Otherwise, there will be an issue in allowing the credit, right? So that is one important thing, right? So likewise, what you can do is you can add the data right here. Now you can see. So these three transactions, were auto-filled by the system, and the fourth transaction, it was entered by the particular taxpayer, right? So likewise, you can complete this part, right? So then, based on the data that you have entered, or based on the data which is auto-filled by the system, again, system will calculate your tax liability as well. Here you can see system has calculated the assessable income, personal relief, and after deducting the personal relief, taxable income also calculated by the system. And by applying the progressive rate slab, system calculate the tax payable amount as well, and the tax credit will comes to the cage number I, and based on the liability and the available tax credit, system will calculate the balance payable amount or the refund amount. So you cannot alter, or you cannot edit this summary part, right? So what you have to do, if you need to do any change for your assessable income, you have to do that change for the previous sections, for the employment income section, or the interest income section, right? So we'll move forward, right? So then after you complete that part, if everything is okay, right? So what you have to do, you have to move to the next part to submit the statement of asset and liability. Schedules are not available with this particular simplified version of individual income tax return, right? There's no schedules, but you have to submit the statement of asset and liability. And again, you need to save it by force, right? Once you click on the next button, system will save the data what you have entered, right? So again, I will show you how to complete this simplified return with the video number 2. All right. So here it is. We are in the asset and liability statement, right? So here also the pre-filled data, in case you have submit the asset and liability statement with your previous return, the data which are available with that return will be auto-filled here, right? You need no need to enter all these details again and again. Whatever the data which is available with your previous asset and liability statement will be auto-filled, right? So again, in case those data, if you wish to do any alteration, it can, right? So if not, you can accept it as it is, right? So here I am showing how to alter the existing data, right? And the other important thing is under the asset and liability statement from this year onward, you have to mention the type, right? So here the type A and type B. Type A refers to the local asset, and type B refers to the foreign asset. You have to say whether it is local asset or foreign asset using this particular type option. So, so I hope it is much familiar to most of you. Here you have to enter your asset related details as well as liability related details, right? So once you complete that asset and liability statement, you have to click the next button. So once you click the next button from the asset and liability statement, you will be moved to the declaration page. Here also, as same as this CIT one, there are two parts, part A and part B. Part A to enter the authorized accountant or tax agent details, and part B to declare the taxpayer's detail. In case return is filled by the tax agent, you have to click yes for part A and you have to enter that details. In case return is filled by the taxpayer himself or herself, you can say no for the part A, then you have to enter only your details. But when entering your details, make sure to enter the correct telephone number and the email address, right? So from the declaration page, you have to click the next button. Once you click the next button from the declaration page, you will be moved to the confirmation page, right? So confirmation page, it shows the data that you have entered so far, but from the confirmation page, you cannot do any alteration. So there are 5 buttons at the bottom part of this particular confirmation page. Here, what you can do, you can upload the supporting document, right? So this is the supporting document UI for the simplified version of individual income tax return. There is no much of the supporting documents, right? So if you go through this standard format, there are a lot of supporting document, but in this case, you don't need to submit much of supporting document other than this T10 certificate, withholding certificate, and statement of asset and liability. So in case you have to submit T10 certificate and kind of thing, you can attach here, right? I will show you. So here it is. And likewise, you have to select the document type, you have to select the subdocument file type, and then you have to select the files, and you can attach that particular file here, right? So once you complete that part, right? So again, you will be navigated to the confirmation page. Here we are in the confirmation page. As you can see here, there are some other buttons. One is to amend. In case you wish to do further editing, it can through this amend button. Or if you are in the opinion that now your return is okay, what you can do is, first thing, you have to take a printout, or you can save this confirmation page in a PDF format. Once that part is completed, if everything is okay, what you can do is you have to submit it. Once you submit it, once you click the submit button, it will be submitted to the Inland Revenue Department. And as soon as you submit it, system will pop up the acknowledgement as well, right? So this is the print option. So once you click on this print option, here you can from here, in case the printer is not connected to your device, what you can do is you can save the PDF format of this confirmation page, right? So this is the submission part, right? So again, right? So other important thing is, say now you are not going to submit it right now, so but you can keep the details that you have entered so far as a draft, right? So in case you have not submitted it, but you have entered some amount of detail, the return status will be changed as a draft, right? You can keep this draft. So the system will keep this draft until you submit this return. So this is about the simplified return e-filing. Since we do have little amount of time, I will move to the standard return e-filing. So here again, what you have to do, you have to log into the system. You have to log into the dashboard. From the dashboard, you have to select the return schedule management. From the return schedule management, you have to select the individual income tax type. Then you have to you will be navigated to the return filing summary page. From the returns filing summary page, you have to select the relevant year of assessment, 23-24. Then you have to proceed. So then you will be navigated to the qualifying condition page. From the qualifying condition page, you have to select the qualifying condition number 4. In case you select the qualifying condition number 4 and proceed, you will be navigated to the standard version of individual income tax return. So most of you familiar with this particular one. As I told earlier, there are 3 basic parts: main return, schedules, and the asset and liability statement. Now we are in the main return. So you can see here most of these, actually, other than cage number 80, all the other cages are gray in color. That means you cannot enter any data for these cages. So what you have to do is you have to select the relevant schedule. You have to enter the data for that particular schedule. Then once you enter the data to the relevant schedule, data will be automatically transferred to the particular cage of the main return. Here again, even in this standard format, standard return also available in all three language, right? Based on your language preference, you can convert it into Sinhala, Tamil or English, right? So not only the main return, even the subschedules also available in the particular preferred language, right? So this is how it's work, right? So again, I will convert it to English, right? So right. So there are several radio button here. You have to say whether you are a resident or non-resident and whether you are a senior citizen or not, right? So then you have to enter the data. So before moving to the schedules, what I have to say, there are two options to go through the schedule. The first option is you can use the next button. If you use the next button, you have to follow the sequence. You have to from the main return, you have to go to the schedule 1, schedule 2, schedule 3, like that, right? Likewise. So it seems to be it is little bit of time taking process. Therefore, I recommend you to use the hyperlink instead of use the next button, right? So here you can see the hyperlink for the particular schedules which are in bracket in blue color letters, right? Once you click on this particular hyperlink, directly you can move to the particular schedules by skipping some unnecessary schedules, right? So we'll show you. So here, so we'll move to the schedule 1, right? So schedule 1 to enter the details refers to the employment income, right? Once you move to the particular schedules, there are three, actually there are two tables. Table 1 to declare the current employment income or the employment income, and table B to declare the terminal benefit related details. So how to enter the data for these tables? You have to enter the data to the cages below the table, right here. So the employment type primary, the employer name and employer TIN number and the remuneration. Once we enter the data, then we have to click that button. Once you click that button, that data will move to the table as well as that data will move to the main return, right? So again, you can move to the main return from here, right? So now you can see the data that you have already entered to the schedule 1 now automatically pop up to the main return. So from the main return, from the schedule, what you can do, you can edit the data that you have entered. You can remove the data that you have entered, or you can edit the data that you have entered. So I will show you how to remove it, right? You have to click on this particular tick box and then you have to click the remove button. Once you click the remove button, it will be disappeared. Again, I will show you how to enter the data. And so this is the edit option, right? So what you have to do, once you enter the data and in case you need to edit it, you have to click on this particular hyperlink, right? Once you click on this particular hyperlink, that data will move again to the cages, right? So here you can enter any number of transaction. Any number means almost 20 numbers of transaction, or mean 20 number of employment income you can enter here, right? So here it is. Now we have two, right? In case you need to alter or edit one, what you have to do? So what you have to do, you have to select particular, I will show with that option with the schedule 2, right? So likewise, you can enter the data for the terminal benefit table as well as the exempted amount table, right? In case you are having exempted or excluded employment income, you have to enter that detail under the case number 112, 113 and 114. So likewise, you can complete the schedule 1. Schedule 1 refers to the employment income, right? So now we move to the schedule 2 to enter the business related data. again, now how to move to the schedule 2 from the schedule 1? There are two options. One option, you can use the next button. Once you click the next button, you will be navigated to the schedule 2. The other option is you can move to the main return, and from the main return through the hyperlink, you can navigate to the schedule 2, right? So we'll see. So here, this time I'm going to use the next button option instead of using the main return hyperlink, right? So now we are in the schedule 2. You know that this schedule 2 is to declare the business related income. There are three tables. You have to declare the business income from your proprietorship business, business income from your partnership business, and business income from the trust as well. So since we do have very limited amount of time, I will mention some important facts, right? So only important facts here. So here there's an activity code, right? So now you may have a question: what is this activity code, right? So once you click on this particular item within this box, right? So there will be a drop down like this, right? So you can see lot of activities are here. Out of these activities, you have to select the relevant activity code for your business. But sometimes you may have an issue by selecting the appropriate activity code. In that case, what you can do is, instead of the proper activity code, you have to select this 60 as the activity code. Even you can proceed even with this 60 activity code in case you don't know the exact activity code for your business, right? So but it is important to enter activity code at least this 6 zeros, right? So then you have to enter the nature of business and gain and profit, right? That means accessible income from the business. And from this year onward, you have to enter the turnover as well, right? So once you enter the data, the next step is you have to enter those details into this table. How you can do it? You have to click the add button. Once you click the add button, that detail will be automatically transferred to the particular table as well as to the main return. So from here, you can do the alteration so it is same as schedule 1. You can do the alteration, right? So likewise, you have to enter the business income from the proprietorship. In case you are having a partnership income, that details also need to enter here, right? Under the table B, right? Partners income from partnership. The data entering process is almost same. What you have to do is you have to enter the data to the cages, and then you have to click the add button, right? So make sure to enter the correct partnership PIN number, and even in employment income, make sure to enter the correct employer PIN number. Otherwise, there will be an issue in allowing the tax credit from the employment income or from the partnership. So here also same, we have to click that button. Then data will move to the table, right? So you can see, and if you go back to the main return, you can see that detail will be automatically pop up here. Now I'm showing how to do the edit part, right? So you have to select the particular item you need to edit, right? Right. So you have to select the item, and then it will comes to the cages again below the table. From the table, you can edit it. Then you have to click the update button. Once you click the update button, edited amount or edited detail will be pop up to the table as well as to the return. Here also, you can enter the exempted or excluded amount, right, under the cage number 260, right? So every time once you click the next button, system will say the data that you have entered will be saved as a draft, right? So now let's see the main return. So far we have entered the data for the employment income schedule as well as business schedules, and those data has automatically transferred to the main return. Based on that, main return has calculated the assessable income and the rest as well. Right here you can see it has calculated the assessable income here. So likewise, you have to enter the investment income related data into schedule number 3, right? And other income related data into the schedule number 4. There's no difference in the process of data entering, right? So data entering process is almost same as the schedule number 1 and 2 for the schedule number 3 and 4 as well. So once you complete this data, source related data, income related data entering part, then you have to move to the schedule 5. Schedule 5 is basically to enter the qualifying payment related data, right? So I will show you, right? So here now there are a lot of detail here. So we are in the schedule 4, right? So we have entered some detail for the schedule 4 as well. So now we are in the schedule 5. Schedule 5 to enter the qualifying payment and relief related data. There are 3 basic parts here, right? So the first part to enter the qualifying payment under the Inland Revenue Act number 24 of 2017, right? Part B to enter the qualifying payment refers to the Inland Revenue Act number 10 of 2006. That means the qualifying payment brought forward from the previous act, right? You can enter those details into the part B. And most important part is here, right? This cage number 511. In case you are having a solar system in your home and you are eligible to claim the solar relief, right? What we have to do is we have to enter the total expenditure on acquisition of solar panel under the cage number 511. Once you enter the total acquisition cost, system will allow only 600,000 per annum, right? So here you have to enter that detail here. Once you enter the detail here, system will allow 600,000 as a solar relief. And this is the other part. In case you have investment in the film industry, you can claim another relief under this item number D, right? So in order to claim this relief, you have to enter that detail here, right? So likewise, you have to complete the schedule 5. Once you complete the schedule 5, your main return is like this, right? So now up to the taxable income, it has been completed, right? Based on the data you have entered to the relevant schedules. So now we move to the schedule 6. Schedule 6 is basically to enter the details refers to the final withholding payment, final withholding credit actually. In case you are having a final withholding credit, you have to enter those details here. While you are entering the data, it is important to fill all these 6 cages and you have to click that button. The data entering process is almost same as the schedule 1, 2 and 3, right? But the important thing is you can enter up to 50 transaction here. In case someone do have more than 50 transaction, what he has to do, he has to enter one particular item, one particular transaction with the aggregate amount, and he has to submit the withholding schedule in a CSV format, right? So for this final withholding related WHT, there's no actually system matching, but when it comes to the schedule 7, the withholding tax credit, other than the final, in that case, you have to make sure enter the correct details because otherwise there will be a issue while allowing the withholding tax credit. So I will show you quickly. So schedule 7, here is the schedule 7, right? So this is another one of important schedule. In case of you are having a withholding related details, you have to enter here, right? So again, even under this particular schedule, up to 50 transaction you can enter here. In case you have more than 50 transaction, you have to go for the CSV. And while you are using the CSV, you have to enter one particular transaction including the aggregated amount, right? So you need to enter the sketch 710, then it will be moved to the relevant credit schedule, right? So that is important, refers to the schedule 7. Once you complete the schedule 7, you have to move to the schedule 8, right? So see, now so far no tax liability here because you are not complete the schedule 8, right? So this is the schedule 8. Here what you have to do, system will automatically calculate the taxable income amount and it will be populated to the case number 801. Here you have to distribute that particular taxable income based on the relevant source, right? So system cannot distribute your taxable income based on the source. So it is your responsibility. You have to make sure to distribute the correct amount of taxable income among the relevant source of income within the schedule 8. Until you correctly distribute your total income, total taxable income here, schedule 8, you will be not allowed to save this return, or you will not be allowed to submit this return. So it is important. So schedule 9, to declare the tax credit. Here again, it is important to enter all your tax credit. It may be foreign tax credit, maybe the 60% of self-assessed tax refund, as explained by Mr. Asita, and other relevant tax credit you have to enter here, right? So you can see. So we have to enter here. Once you complete that part, once you complete the schedule 9, system will calculate your tax liability as well, right? So, and here,
Mr. Hiran, we are
yeah. So I'm going to close
past
now.
time, so if you can just finish off
Yeah.
soon.
Yeah. Schedule 10 is to declare the loss related detail. In case you are having a loss, you can enter that detail here. So thereafter, actually, you have almost done your return filing. Once you complete those relevant schedule, you almost done. System may calculate the liability under the main return, and thereafter, again, here also you have to complete the asset and liability statement, but there is no pre-population under this pre-filled data under this standard return. Therefore, you have to enter all these relevant details. So this is that part. So at the end, once you click the next button from the statement of asset and liability, you will be navigated to the declaration. So you have to enter the declaration related data. Then you have to click the next button from the declaration page. Then you will be navigated to this confirmation page. All the data that you have entered so far available in this confirmation page. Again, as the simplified one, what you have to do is you can go through the details, and at the bottom of the confirmation page, there will be a button to upload the document and amend and print and kind of thing. So here also you have to submit the relevant document. If you wish to submit those documents with the return, there's an option. You can upload the supporting document even after you file the return as well. It's up to the particular taxpayer, but so with the time limit, it is better to, if you do have a time, it is better to upload the document with the return, right? Once you complete that part, again, you will be moved to the confirmation page, right? From the confirmation page, what you have to do, you have to, if everything is okay, again, what you have to do, you have to submit the return. So since we do have the time constraint, I will stop my presentation now. Over to you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Hiran. We are very thankful to you. I think that was a detailed description on the e-filing, both the shortened form and the long form. I think Mr. Saman Disanayak is also there. Mr. Saman, do you have any comments or additional points you would like to add?
Yes, Professor. Good evening, everyone.
Yeah.
Actually, this time our request is mainly, since the e-filing is mandatory for both CIT, IIT parties, then we encourage you to start the return filing process from the November 1st onwards. Already, if you have given up the process, then And as a Inland Revenue Department, we are supporting to the people to do the e-filing as efficient and effective manner. Then very important thing is you have to identify to whom the simplified income tax return is applicable and to whom to apply the normal return. Please keep in your mind, if anyone having only primary employment income plus interest income from banks and finance companies which are subject to withholding tax, you can go through with the simplified return. Otherwise, you have to go to normal return. That is the rule. Then in addition to that, again, our request from the department is we have planned to collect the large taxpayers return and upper corporate company returns during the first week of the November, if they are possible to submit the return, because we encourage them to submit them as soon as possible. And also partnership return also, we encourage to submit within the first week of the November, because every year, you know, we have some kind of the traffic jam in the system in last week. Therefore, to avoid that unnecessary issues, again, I am requesting that try to ask from your tax consultant, taxpayers to do their return filing within the first 2 weeks of the November without waiting to the last date. Professor, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I must thank Mr. Saman Disanaki, because he's the one who really took the initiative, because this is something where we are also educating our own members, plus also helping the department. Like as he mentioned, we should try to submit our return forms as early as possible. And I'm sure that if there are any queries or anything, that we could also support them, and we could also get the support of the department. I think there are a number of questions. Only thing is we are not able to do anything. But Mr. Atula, anything that you would like to mention about the questions and how we can handle it?
Yeah, Professor, while Mr. Hiran and Mr. Asita were conducting their part, I answered as much as possible. I think almost about 75% of the questions I answered, but I didn't answer certain online filing related few things. Other than that, most of the things I answered. Now, in addition to that, I would like to mention that now Mr. Hiran and Asita covered the entire e-filing part. Now, only thing the taxpayer, they should log into the system and try these things. There are so many questions asking about, suppose if there are any other income other than the interest and the employment income, can't they use the simplified thing? Definitely can't. Only those two are allowable.
Especially with Atula, I have to add something to there. If
Yeah.
anyone having a secondary employment,
Yeah.
then definitely he has to go to the normal return.
Yeah. Even if there are any overpaid taxes brought forward, even that is not accommodated.
Can I just ask one from Mr. Saman? When you say secondary employment, now there are certain people who are employed, then they are doing consultant services and doing maybe additional income coming in. How does that go? Is it can it go under the same statement or separate one?
No, Professor, if they are having consultancy income, it is coming under the professional income. It should be coming under the business income category. Therefore, they
Right.
have to go for the normal return.
So professional income, whatever that they are doing, it will go under the shortened form one, is it?
Not simple one. They have to go to the normal return, Professor.
Normal one, right? Okay.
Yeah,
Because
Okay.
that's a business income. That is a business income.
That is business income. The original intention of introducing simplified return is only for the employment income. But you know,
Right.
all the employees having the bank account and salaries are going to the bank account. That is why we allow bank interest also. Otherwise, it is only for the employment income. It is
Employment.
limited to the primary employment income.
Right. Okay. Fine. Thank you. All right, Mr. Atul, anything that you want to add there?
No, I think we have covered a vast area within the limited time period of 2 hours plus 15 minutes. I have the,
And Ms.
I think
Atula,
it is,
Satula,
yeah.
if any question relevant to the online submission, if anything you are unable to answer, please
Yeah.
forward those to us and directly we will answer from those people, selected people.
Yeah, certain things I didn't answer. I didn't want to answer certain things.
Okay.
Definitely, we will submit those things to the to you all for
Sure.
answering those things. Yeah,
Okay,
that's a good
okay.
idea. Then we
So
can
actually
share
what
those
we will
things.
do, Mr. Atula, if we can
Yeah.
get the questions and
Yeah.
maybe we can give the answers, we'll send it to all the participants
Correct,
so
yeah.
that then they will be able to clarify. And thanks also to Mr. Saman for agreeing from the department side to maybe clarify and give the answers which we can send to the participants. Okay.
That's a good idea.
Yes.
Right. So shall we wind up then? So
Yeah,
let me
better, no, better.
let me just thank everyone, especially our resource persons, Mr. Atula Ranavira, who's the managing partner of Atula Ranavira Associates. I think he's been playing a major role, not only in this, but we are also conducting special tax seminars and webinars. Those are really programs we are conducting. So if anyone wants to get further information, I think Ms. Shanti is the one who is handling it to the registrations. Then also Mr. Saman Disanaik, I think he's been a great source of assistance to us and also been working closely with us, not only in the this program, but also in the conduct of the other seminars. And I must thank the Commissioner General of Inland Revenue because I think she really gave the permission to this and supported us on this. And I think our Mr. Saman and others have been able to give the importance of this one so that it will be given to a larger audience and that it will support them. Then also the other two resource persons, Mr. Hiran Menaripiti and Mr. Asita Munasinghe, who have been doing a great job, and Mr. As I said, Mr. Saman Disanaika, who is the commissioner, for his input, and Mr. Gajendra, who is the chairman of our CMA taxation committee, for the initial introduction and of course the other work that he had been doing. And I'm also thankful to all the participants because we had over 1,200 registrations and we had almost over 700 who participated. That's a normal tendency that most of them register. But then we will make available whatever that was done today to all of them so that that will really help them. And also this message will go to everyone. And so once again, let me thank everyone. I must thank our Secretariat, Ms. Shanti, and others who have been supporting this and helping us in every way to conduct this webinar. And if you have anything, please send to us and we will also try to serve you as much as possible because I think the department would like to see, as Mr. Saman mentioned, that all the returns to be sent early without having maybe a jam at the end, because what normally happens is we take till the end, but this really webinar was done to give you the message that if you send it in advance, it will support you and assist you and you will have no problem. So once again, let me thank everyone and I'm sure that we could take this forward. If you have any questions, please send to us so that we can then get those questions answered through our resource persons and also with the support of the department in all those matters. So thank you and all the very best and wish you that you will have no problems in filling the returns and sending it on time. Okay. Thank you and all the best.